Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and today we are talking about Sandbox, a brand new air quotes game engine that shipped today. And should the likes of Unity, Unreal, or Godot be concerned? Maybe a little bit, but not really. We'll talk about some of the details in just a second. So this one is coming from a studio called Facepunch Studios, probably most famous for creating the game Rust, but they got started with something called Garry's Mod. Now, Garry's Mod basically allowed you to hack the Steam source engine and make all kinds of things. Basically, it was a playground or a sandbox, if you will, for creating any kind of movie experience, little experimental gameplay stuff, and so on. So again, it was a physics-based sandbox based off of the source engine. Well, they've taken that, I guess we could say 35 steps further with the release today of Sandbox. Now, Sandbox is kind of the same concept. It allows you to create these shareable game experiences, this time built on top of the Source 2 engine, but it goes a step further than that. And this is why other game engines need to be a little bit concerned, but not extremely, because you can actually create standalone games using Sandbox. Now, another irony about Sandbox is it is actually technically the most expensive upfront of all of the game engines, because you can get Unity for free, Godot is always free, and the Unreal Engine is only going to cost you any money after you spend $1 million. So at $20, Sandbox is actually the most expensive game engine on the list, but obviously you are also getting a full game with it as well. So what is that game? Well, it's kind of, again, a sandbox, See what I did there? And by the way, I don't remember creating this avatar, but he looks disturbingly like the guy from the Star Wars Force Awakens games. So anyways, yeah, you see over here, a huge hub of playable game experiences. And like what you see from like what's been created by the community gives you an idea of just how broad the number of titles that you can go ahead and create using this are. And then on top of that, there are just basically sandbox maps you can go into, such as this one, play around, create just about whatever you want. So for example, in one of the videos I watched, you could go ahead and create a bed. I also have found that it crashes like mad. So I would not necessarily gonna go ahead and show you that right now, but I'm not really interested in that side of the experience. You can also create maps. By the way, you can make money with this stuff. So people play your stuff. It all comes out of a common slush fund, and you can actually make money like you would on a Roblox or a UEFN type experience. But what most of you are going to be interested in is actually a separate program. It's called the Sandbox Editor, and when you go ahead and look, you'll find there's Sandbox and Sandbox Editor are both installed when you launch this. It's only available on Steam, by the way, and you can actually go ahead and create games fully with this game engine. We'll use this demo project they come with it, and it gives you an idea of what kind of an engine experience you're working with. And this is the part of Sandbox that I actually find really appealing. I'm going to dig into this, I think, a little bit more, maybe make a little small fun game or two on the side, and then probably updated experience on what it's like creating a game using Sandbox. So do stay tuned for that, and if you're interested in that kind of a video, do let me know what you'd like to see specifically. Now, one of the big limitations about games like Roblox or UEFN is you're basically creating for their environment. Well, one of the big things that they announced with Sandbox is you can actually create and publish your games on Steam. So you can sell Sandbox created games, but you can only sell them on Steam. So there's why like the likes of Godot, Unity, or Unreal don't really need to worry all that much, because the only people that could really potentially create games using Sandbox would ultimately be only for indie developers creating on Steam. But the thing is, a lot of indie developers only create on Steam. And of course, if you create something quite successful, behind the scenes, it is still source engine. So you could publish this out to other consoles, but it's not going to be free anymore at that point in time. So you can see the world editing environment. Neat little playground. It's, as a game engine, it is very clean and nice. It's C# based, by the way. The C# portion of Sandbox is actually free and open source. We'll get to that in a little bit. Well, here you can see a sample. Let's go ahead and check out what this is like. Get an idea of so it runs quick, which I also appreciate. And then this is just a simple physics. So you've got a cube controller with a light attached to it. You see as it moves around, it goes with it. And then these are game objects that have physics attached to them. And then boom. So you can see how all of these things work together. So let's exit out that game. So there's all the things. So here you can see our player cube right here. You see our player cube is made out of multiple different things. So this is a little bit Godot-esque in that you have these node hierarchies over here. And then what you've got over here, a little bit more Unity-esque, is it is component-driven. So you can see here, this guy has a cube controller attached to the cube. That's just what allows you to do the movement around. But you've also got other components here, such as the model renderer, the collider, and we can add other things on top. So if I wanted to do post-processing effects or whatever, you got things here. If I wanted to hook up audio to it, I can have it create sound comes out of this particular thing and add and connect things there. So it is traditional component-based system with a bit of a node hierarchy built into the scene graph over here as well. If you are comfortable with Godot or you are comfortable with Unity, you are going to immediately understand how to work with Sandbox, especially if you come from a Unity background, because as you can see here, here is our cube controller. I'm going to right-click and open that one up. And you're noticing, hey, good old-fashioned Visual Studio. Now, there is another thing where Unity, Unreal, and Godot have nothing to worry about because Sandbox only runs on Windows. So if you want to get the tooling running on Linux or Mac, nope, not going to happen, at least not right away. So it's going to go ahead and open it up, and we'll see what some of the source code controlling things looks like. So give this a second. Here we go. So here we can see our cube controller inherits from component, and then you can expose values out, such as move speed. So we go back over here, and we select our thing. You should see move speed exposed out right there as a floating point value. So it's very simple to expose values out. And then you got your traditional callbacks on update. This is going to call every pass through your game loop, and this is going to do like the simple movement things. If you've worked with Unity, this should look immediately comfortable to you. And then you've got a number of other overrides here as well. So for example, and then we've got, okay, I'm not going to demo that because I do not know how my code completion works right now. Ugly. Okay. Anyways, so you've got that aspect handling just basically straightforward C# scripts for the game logic in game. You can actually go ahead and add those. Now, where it actually starts getting pretty impressive, though, is this is community driven. So you look down here, our library manager, we've got all kinds of libraries already created by the community. So if you need to add screenshotting, you can add this simple screenshotting thing to your project and boom, add it in. So just the library extends what you can do. You need to work with state machines. This is from State Punch themselves, a state machine package. Again, very useful. Number of things from the community. And those are going to bump to the top based off popularity and so on. So there is that aspect of it as well. And then on top of that, come on down here in the asset browser. And here is another big part of it, is you're going to notice here, so here is our straightforward, so this is Sweeper, the program we're in. These are the libraries that are attached to it. I can also hook it up to, just like we had with Gary's mod, you can hook it up to all these various different Valve games that run on the source engine and bring those assets in to work with. But the key thing here is there's also this cloud. So this has got, as you see, models, maps. So if you want to bring in a predefined map someone else created, you can bring in full maps to work with, like so. Then on top of that, you've got materials. So you bring in various different shaders, etc., or 3D models like so. So let's say I needed a gun model. But the other thing you're going to notice here is if you look through this list pretty quickly, it's not well filtered, so it's going to have a lot of slop on it. Oh, and look, there's Shrek. I am sure Facepunch has the license for Shrek, right? Right? But otherwise, let's say I needed a gun. You can come in here. So you're going to want to audit this. There's nothing here to say any of this stuff is necessarily, let's just say, legally usable. But boom, there is the gun. There is a preview of the gun. And then I believe I can just literally grab, so if I need an MP5, I can literally just drag and drop it in to our world. And then you see an MP5 was added there. And then boom. So that is how easy it is to get 3D models in and out of the engine. That is a pretty nice process. Again, no auditing over the licenses or the agreements behind those, but you're going to have this nice community built up around sharing assets, etc. So it's going to make throwing experiences together, especially if you're not looking to create anything commercial, super simple. On top of that, you notice we have a number of other things here, but the key thing we're going to go over here is to the tools, and we've got some really cool things. But probably one of the biggest things here is the hammer editor. So this is the level editor as part of the source engine. So do keep in mind, this entire Sandbox experience is actually built over top of the source game engine. So what you can do in source, generally you can do in Sandbox. And getting the source 2 has never really been easy. Like I don't know why Valve went the way they did with licensing, but this is your easiest way to get access to it. So you've got the full editing environment, 3D world building that you would from working with the source tools is available there as well for creating your maps and levels. On top of that, we've got things like a material editor here. I don't know if I've got any materials in this example to showcase. No, I don't. But, your traditional viewers there, 3D model viewers, animation, state graph tools here, shader graphs for doing your shader editing, available here with visual results of your shader as you are creating it, and so on. There are a very robust set of tools here for game developers, and they're nicely polished. It's actually really quite simple to get up and running with it. The build cycle is very fast and nice, and you're going to notice my MP5 just fell to the ground and automatically has physics attached to it as well. So super simple. And again, if I wanted to add my own additional logic to the thing I added in here, you can easily add, so I could add a child node to it of all these various different types. So if I wanted to add a particle system, a smoking particle system, for example, I could easily do that there. And you see it now, my MP5 is a smoking MP5. So this is like the traditional node approach on the Godot side of things. But at the same time, if I wanted to add some logic to it, I could go ahead and add in a component. And if I wanted to write a component from scratch, I could do so there. That's my component. And then I can have it create a new simple component like so, and then it's creating a CS file, and then once again, we are back entirely in Visual Studio at this point in time. So there's a lot to like about Sandbox. It is basically like, if you are in the Steam ecosystem 100%, it might be the coolest solution for these kind of things out there. If you're looking at it from a gamer side of things, it's basically the next iteration of Gary's Mod with all the server hosting and so on. If you create games, you can actually make money. I think they've paid out about $500,000 so far already. And then again, you can publish your games out to Steam. But the only reality is if you're not content with just having your indie game on Steam only, Sandbox it's got so many restrictions in that regard compared to Unreal, Unity, or Godot. It's not really a competitor there, though all of the functionality is there, which is the impressive part. As a game engine, it is very cool. But it's, again, as the choice of how the platform works, it's kind of, think of it more like a Roblox or a UEFN with the additional ability to publish a standalone game on Steam for free, which is pretty damn cool. So that is it. Here we go. The other aspect, just something to know, sandbox.game is their homepage for their website, and their website sucks. It is down all the time. It gives you issues all the time, but if you want to get news updates on what's going on with Sandbox, etc., great place to check. They do have regular blogs and updates on what's new, things that have been added. They're adding things pretty continuously, so it'll be interesting where Facepunch ultimately take this whole project, but it is now live. Again, it is $20 up on Steam. I did also mention briefly that the game engine part of it. So there's behind the scenes, there's the game engine in the form of Valve Source 2 game engine. In the middle, there is that C# layer built on .NET that provides, and then the intuitive editor, etc., for creating games. That part is actually open sourced. So it is up on GitHub. The licensing here, I may not have to say open source because it might be source available. I haven't gone through the license to see if this is OSI certified or whatever. But the source code for the middle part, the C# part of it, is all available up on GitHub if you want to go ahead and check that one out. As you can see, the vast majority of the project is written using C# game engine, sorry, C# language. So this is that middleware, middle layer that Facepunch have created. So if you want to jump in and take a look at it, that is available open source out there. And then otherwise, it is up on Steam now. Like I said, it's $20 USD. We do very much have some mixed reviews coming in initially. I think a lot of that is coming down to performance reports, people that are coming from Gary's Mod. It sounds like Sandbox is a lot more resource intensive. And then, like I said, when I was actually playing around with this side of things, with the games that you can go ahead and play, like if I want to go ahead and play this game, I've definitely run into some hiccups with the game side of things. So one of the things to be aware of, it is a launch, those kind of things happen. And yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Sandbox game/game engine. Let me know what you think. And again, I'm going to do a follow-up. I gotta get my 20th buck for somehow, if you're kind of showcasing how you can create a game using this, let me know what you'd be interested in on that one in the comments down below. And I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.